Tonight at 9, Pittsburgh High School students spent today honoring 4 state heroes in a very special way. KOAM's Chris Warner was there and he'll bring us that story.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. We are going to kick things off tonight with meteorologist Nick Kelly. Nick.
Well, we've been busy keeping an eye on developing thunderstorms off to the west, Mike, but before they got going, we had a pretty quiet day overall. A low of 70 this morning. Not quite as warm as I expected, but still a warm day nonetheless, with afternoon highs topping out right around 83 degrees. We take you right to the maps, though. Even though there's a tornado watch clipping Washington and the Wada counties until 10 o'clock, if we broaden the view out a little bit, you can clearly see how we have a line of severe thunderstorm warnings and even some tornado warnings out from north central down into central and almost eastern parts of Oklahoma down to Shawnee. All these thunderstorms continue to fill in, and they are on the march toward us. And for the time being, they are arriving to our western counties as scheduled, Mike. Nothing severe yet, but this is one of the many things I'm tracking. We'll have the latest on what these storms will do overnight and the rest of the forecast coming up here in a bit.
All right, thank you so much, Nick Kelly. Officials with the Joplin Police Department are conducting a death investigation in the Campbell Parkway neighborhood. According to the JPD, officers were dispatched to a home on the 1300 block of Massachusetts Avenue around 5:30 last night. 2 people were confirmed dead from an incident inside a residence in that area. Police confirmed the incident was isolated and there is no ongoing threat to the public. This is a developing story and we will have more information as soon as it becomes available. Law enforcement officials say a man from Goodman was killed in a crash in southeast Missouri. According to the Missouri State Highway Patrol, a moped driven by 37-year-old Justin Freeman of Goodman was hit by a Dodge Ram truck on US 60, 10 miles east of Poplar Bluff. Freeman's moped then ran off the road after the crash. Freeman was pronounced dead at the scene. 4-staters packed Central Park in Carthage for some fierce competition and delicious chili this afternoon. The Sunday in the Park Chili Cook-Off is a popular part of Carthage's Maple Leaf Festival because it brings the community together for some food and fun. KOAM spoke to the 2020 Chili Cook-Off defending champion to learn what makes this competition such a hit with Carthage residents and festival visitors.
Just coming out here and just having a great time with people. All the money's raised going to a great charity. It's going to the Carthage Humane Society, so you can't beat that. Just come out here and have a good day.
The Chili Cook-Off was organized by the Carthage Water and Electric Plant. It raised money for charity by charging folks $5 to taste as many chili entries as they liked. Tasters then voted on which chili they thought should take the crown. The Maple Leaf Festival didn't stop with the Chili Cook-Off. Central Park and Carthage also hosted the Carthage Humane Society's annual dog show. People and their pups competed in 12 different categories, but with so many cool and cute dogs on display, anybody who came for the fun was automatically a winner. And the dogs being cared for by the Carthage Humane Society were also winners in their own way, because the money the show raised is used to keep them happy and healthy while they wait for their forever homes.
It's all going to go for the Carthage Humane Society care for the dogs, food, and their vaccinations and medical needs.
Some of the dog show's competitive categories included Best Pet and Owner Lookalikes and Best Tail Wag. The dog show also doubled as a Carthage Humane Society adoption event, and following the dog show, folks got to enjoy a wiener dog race. The fun continued today in Mount Vernon, Missouri, as 4-staters came out to celebrate the final day of apple butter making days. This year's festival marks the 55th apple butter making days, and it was bigger and better than ever this year with nearly 500 craft and food booths. There was a ton of fun stuff for folks to check out, but Sunday's highlight had to be the ukulele revival concert. One of the celebrations vendors tells KOAM he has fond childhood memories with his father, who took him to apple butter making days for the first time.
My favorite memory of Apple Butter Fest is probably when, I don't know, I was about 10 years old and my dad brought me up here and he let me run around and just eat food and just hang out with my friends from school. You know, I'd never been to it, and it was awesome.
Apple Butter Making Days is one of the Show Me State's most popular festivals and has been held on the Mount Vernon Courthouse Square since 1967. Memorial Day, Veterans Day, 2 of the most recognizable days we remember fallen servicemen and women. Now, some Pittsburgh High School Key Club members have added today to that list as they spent their Sunday cleaning the headstones of veterans at the Mount Olive Cemetery. KOM's Chris Warner has that story.
I just think it's really rewarding to to watch a group of people like this come out and do something good.
Emily Reams is a junior at Pittsburgh High School and decided to join some of her fellow Key Club members at Mount Olive Cemetery to take care of those who once took care of us.
It's important to make sure that those headstones are treated with respect and that they look nice and that we highlight that these people were people who fought for us.
For Reams, giving back is just second nature.
I have always been taught to give back to the community that I live in, no matter where I am. So just volunteering and giving back is something that's very much a staple in my life.
Ashlyn Brooks is a senior at Pittsburgh High, and this is her second year coming out to clean up the headstones.
I just think it's really cool to be able to clean the headstones that some people forgot. The ones that we clean are the ones that have been sitting out here the longest, like they're veterans, they're Confederate soldiers, Union soldiers, and a lot of them don't have family that's alive anymore. So I think it's really cool to just kind of give them a new life and make it to where people can actually read their name now and they can be remembered a little bit more.
One by one, members of the Key Club cleaned each headstone, which Brooks says a year ago was a more difficult task.
When we first started, we only had maybe 4 people that were actually willing to get up at 11 o'clock on a Sunday and come clean headstones, but now it's grown a lot. I think a lot more people are realizing how cool it can be and how fun it is to clean headstones and how important it is to the community. And it's really cool to see people, especially like freshmen, 14-year-olds, coming out here to do it.
It's now time to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Tonight we pay tribute to James Martin of Yates Center, Kansas. Martin served as a private in the U.S. Army in the 49th Armored Division. Thank you, sir, for your service and your bravery. For more information on any of our four-state heroes or to nominate your own, just log on to komnewsnow.com.
Low prices, easy and
We've had a pretty quiet day overall, but our main focus for the rest of the night is our increasing rain and thunderstorm chances. Fortunately, and I do say fortunately, we're not seeing a whole lot or barely anything in terms of severe weather. Technically, there is a tornado watch still clipping Washington and the Nevada counties in northeastern Oklahoma until 10 o'clock tonight. But as these storms continue to fill in and move in from the west, look at all these flood watches and flash flood watches taking us until 7 a.m. on your Monday, because it didn't start out looking so ominous off to the west this evening. But as these rain and thunderstorm bands quickly filled in, you can see how we've got plenty of moderate to heavy rainfall marching in from the west. And again, fortunately, the bulk of the severe weather, the severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings, have been staying south and west of Bartlesville, west of Tulsa, but some areas around the Oklahoma City metro getting kind of hammered with the strongest and the most severe of the thunderstorms, including a couple tornado touchdowns, especially around the Oklahoma City metro and even near Chickasha, southwest of the metro. But around here, areas east of 69 are still dry, but once you hop west of US 59, especially on the Kansas and Oklahoma side, this is nothing severe, but you can definitely see a good band of rain and thunderstorms, lightning in some of them, but this is all a lot of water, resulting in moderate to heavy rainfall, and that's again why those flood watches are out. So far, we've only averaged out to 1/10 of an inch with the rain whirling in, but we are going to see those numbers ramp up as we go throughout the course of the night and into Monday. In the meantime, though, here's a live look from Indigo Sky just outside of Seneca, Missouri. That's looking quiet. Same goes for 7th and Rangeline, because the storms weren't expected to arrive in these areas at this point in time. They will about 11 to midnight to 1 a.m. That's the main time frame that those areas, including Joplin, will see the storms really pick up. 72 right now in Joplin with an east breeze at 6. Elsewhere around the region, we do have most of us in the lower to middle 70s, but we do have that cold front working into our far northwestern counties. That is the main focal point for all these showers and thunderstorms, especially the good slew of severe weather really prevalent from Oklahoma City all the way down to the north central parts of Texas. I'll plot the front for you. Once we get on the backside of this, by sunrise or by the morning drive to work and school on your Monday, we'll be done with any severe weather chances before another system out west will sort of give us another shot for strong, maybe severe storms going into Wednesday, late Tuesday night into Wednesday. But we got to get past this system first and its severe threat. But thankfully so far, the severe thunderstorm risk map has panned out as advertised, keeping the bulk of the severe weather off to the south and west. But we still have a shot until 3 a.m. for strong to severe storms with Wind gusts trying to push 60 to 70 miles per hour, not to mention very heavy rainfall, maybe some large hail. And with the storms rolling in, we can't rule out a few spin-up tornadoes, but thankfully the bulk of the tornado warnings again have stayed out in central and northeastern Oklahoma, south and west of Tulsa. Here's 1230 on the future track. You can see that main line of storms rolling in, and then once we hit 3 a.m., anything on the backside of this front is expected to be just a lot of moderate to heavy rainfall. So keep the umbrellas handy before you head out the door on your Monday to start things out. But once we get past lunchtime and into the afternoon, the skies will be clearing out throughout the course of the day. As far as what to expect, temperature-wise, we'll drop to 59 in the morning, 63 by noon. Quite a bit cooler with highs around 70 for your Monday. Plus, we've got more fall-like temperatures lined up, even with more rain chances on the way. Let's go 80 on Tuesday, 77 on Wednesday. Wednesday, System Mike will be our next best shot for widespread rain and storms. Then once we get past thunderstorm chances Thursday and Friday, lows in the 40s, temperatures near 70 for the upcoming weekend. That's looking a lot more like fall.
Wow. So we go from some late summer temps in the 90s to this craziness. I guess that's just the four-state area for you, huh?
It's just another October day.
All right, thanks so much, Nick Kelly. Liberty Utilities has canceled an outage affecting some of our viewers in downtown Joplin. The outage was planned to begin at 1 a.m. tomorrow and last about 4 hours. However, due to the weather, Liberty officials tell KOAM they have canceled the planned outage and will provide an update on the project at a later time. When we return, you'll learn why holiday shopping could get even more stressful this year.
Why everything from Halloween costumes to Christmas trees could be tough to find this holiday season. I'm Molly Lyon in Boston, and I'll explain coming up.
Join our team.
Welcome back. As lawmakers continue to debate President Biden's two massive spending bills, there's concern among Democrats that failure to get the proposals passed will hurt their party. Fox News' Mark Meredith has the latest.
President Biden is urging the American people and members of his own party to support two massive spending proposals, but Democrats remain divided on how best to move these things forward. And we're also hearing from lawmakers that are worried the longer this debate drags on, the bigger the chance nothing gets accomplished. This weekend, the president taking more of an optimistic approach. He addressed Democrats in a virtual message to the DNC on Saturday, basically urging the party to stick together, especially ahead of next year's midterm elections. This weekend, Democrats who are close to the president also doubled down on that message, insisting the party is not as far off when it comes to a final price tag as recent headlines may suggest.
What I think matters most is the policies that we agree on as Democrats, that we should reduce the costs facing most working families. I think the ultimate price will be around $2 trillion, but it's the policies that really matter, and as a caucus, we agree on those.
The White House says it's able to justify massive spending because of the boost it would bring to the U.S. economy, but a recent poll shows a majority of Americans disapprove of the way the president is handling the economy right now. Republicans argue there is one way that new jobs could be created quickly. They're calling on House Democrats to move forward an infrastructure bill that was already passed by the Senate and send it to the president's desk.
You saw the president just last week go to the Capitol again. He was supposed to close the deal, and instead he made it very clear that the tax and spend multi-trillion-dollar bill is tied directly to the infrastructure bill, and it undermines the whole process.
The White House is also playing defense on the economy because of the recent jobs report that was released on Friday that shows employers added far fewer jobs in the month of September than economists were predicting. Traveling with the president in Wilmington, Delaware, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
Worldwide supply chain issues are threatening to make this year's Halloween scarier than usual. More trick-or-treaters could be forced to make their own costumes as stores wait on deliveries, which are weeks or months behind schedule. Things are also not expected to get any better as we head into the rest of the holiday season. Fox News' Molly Lyon takes a look.
A new kind of fright this Halloween as shoppers looking for spooky costumes and props are running into empty store shelves.
We were looking for Superman shirts and capes. It's not an easy thing to find.
I'm trying to find decorations. They're sold out.
Retailers blame a myriad of supply chain issues for the shortage. Manufacturers are now playing catch up after slowing down during the pandemic. The resulting bottleneck of container ships at U.S. ports and a shortage of truck drivers and warehouse workers to move those products are all adding up to sky-high shipping costs and wait times.
Early next summer is what they're telling us for things to go to normal.
Some retailers are operating 4 to 6 weeks behind schedule on new shipments, others paying extra for air shipping to keep shelves stocked.
We used to be able to order from vendors and get things in a week to 2 weeks.
The slowdown could get even worse as we head into the holiday season. Grocery stores are bracing for limited supplies of many products. Expect to pay about 10 to 15% more for that Thanksgiving turkey. And if you've got anything on your Christmas shopping list, now's the time to buy it.
If you are going to order something, there's going to be a lot longer lead times and shipping times than we've seen before. So patience is going to be key this holiday season.
Experts say do not wait on Black Friday this year, especially for things like appliances and electronics. Christmas trees may even be hard to find. In Boston, Molly Line, Fox News.
When we return, you'll learn why Southwest Airlines canceled at least 1,800 flights across the U.S. this weekend. And you'll also hear what passengers affected by the mass cancellations have to say, and it's not pretty. That story and more are next.
Nominate your Forced Aid hero today.
EDU to learn more.
In Russia, a plane carrying a group of skydivers crashed today, killing 16 people. But miraculously, 6 people were pulled from the wreckage alive. Fox News' Ryan Chilcote has more.
That plane had just taken off, just reached an altitude of about 200 feet, really just beginning its ascent, when the pilots reported that they'd lost the left engine. They immediately started to conduct an emergency landing, saw an inhabited area in front of them, veered left, and slammed into a minibus on a nearby highway. That's when the plane flipped over. All that information according to the local governor. The local news agencies reporting there were 20 skydivers on board and a crew of 2. 6 people appear to have survived, you might say miraculously, and are now in serious condition according to local hospital officials. This wasn't a big plane. It was a twin-engine short-range transport plane, the very kind of plane you use for skydiving. The skydiving club that owns it, very popular, very reputable, very well known. They've hosted European championships, a world championship, and are even used by Russian cosmonauts for training. Needless to say, Russia's Cosmonaut Training Center has suspended its ties with the club, which is about 500 miles to the east of Moscow, pending an investigation. Really standard fare in these kinds of situations. Russian aviation safety, historically notoriously bad, particularly after the collapse of the Soviet Union, but it has improved a lot over the last 2 decades, particularly as Russian airlines upgrade their fleets, buying in many cases Western aircraft, though you still do get these crashes, particularly in the regions. So a real tragedy, but if there is a silver lining in this story, it is that they did pull out 6 people alive out of that aircraft. In London, Ryan Chilcote, Fox News.
Southwest Airlines cancels at least 1,800 flights across the U.S. this weekend. Fox News' Lauren Martinez talks to unhappy travelers at Mccarran Airport in Las Vegas.
This has been a horrible experience. It is my birthday week. I'm on vacation. I have all my family.
Travelers flying in and out of Las Vegas had to deal with dozens of canceled flights on Saturday. Southwest Airlines tweeted out they were experiencing air traffic control issues and disruptive weather.
While I was checking in to the kiosk, it was canceled. They ended up routing me through Chicago, and what was supposed to take just a few hours ended up taking 7, but I finally made it to Vegas.
Southwest said the issues will result in a high volume of cancellations throughout the weekend. At one point, 30 Southwest flights were canceled from Mccarran. The soonest some people were able to rebook was Tuesday.
And I have to get a hotel. He don't give me a hotel, so I don't know what's going on.
Hundreds of bags that were supposed to be on outbound flights were now sitting at baggage claim. One couple from Florida said they'll have to drive to Reno instead of fly.
At this point in time, we're trying to find our bags. We're going to spend the night, get a rental car, and drive.
We even heard from people that were standing in line for hours trying to rebook.
I'm tired, I'm hungry, and my blood sugar is getting low. Southwest is telling people they'll give us a credit that's good for a year, which is not acceptable.
Others arrived to Vegas 9 hours after they were supposed to arrive, losing an entire day of vacation.
Then it comes up, we're not going to leave till 4:50, then to 4:57, and then after that. And it's just been a hard. We've missed our excursion for today. This has been a horrible day. A horrible day.
We'll be right back with more news.
Shop food.
The Taliban has ruled out cooperating with the United States to contain extremist groups in Afghanistan. Fox News' Kitty Logan takes a closer look.
The first meeting between U.S. officials and the Taliban since Kabul fell in August is taking place in Doha this weekend. It follows a suicide bombing in Afghanistan on Friday claimed by ISIS. The attack killed over 40 people and happened at a busy mosque in the northern city of Kunduz, targeting people attending Friday prayers. Funerals for those who died in the bombing were held on Saturday. Over 100 were also injured. The Taliban insists it has the capacity to tackle ISIS insurgents and won't be working with the US to bring them under control. They claim to have carried out an operation to hunt ISIS militants in the capital Kabul. As part of the Doha deal, the Taliban agreed to prevent extremist attacks originating from Afghanistan. But with the new regime in chaos, questions remain about exactly how much influence they really have. There are fears there could be more violence ahead. There are concerns that the Taliban government won't be able to control ISIS extremists. In the past, US airstrikes were critical in curbing them. In London, Kitty Logan, Fox News.
Don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more news headed your way, as well as another look at your weather with meteorologist Nick Kelly and your KOAM Sports Report with Danny Terzer. That's all coming up right here in your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. And still to come, you'll learn about a deadly early morning shooting in St. Paul, Minnesota that took a woman's life and injured 14 others. Plus, a sheriff's deputy in Arizona is on life support after he was attacked by an inmate who then escaped with the officer's SUV. You'll learn what happened next when we return. Police arrest 3 people following a shooting early this morning in St. Paul, Minnesota. 1 person is dead and 14 others are injured. A police spokesperson described the scene as hellish. The person who died was a woman in her 20s. Police arrested 3 men, and they were all taken to a hospital after being injured in the incident. The next stop for them will be the Ramsey County Jail once they're released from the hospital. Police are still investigating the details of the shooting. A sheriff's deputy in Arizona is on life support. The Maricopa County Sheriff's Office says an inmate attacked the deputy and escaped. It happened Saturday morning in the city of Avondale. The deputy was processing the inmate, 30-year-old Clinton Robert Hurley. According to the sheriff's office, Hurley attacked the deputy and stole his SUV. He then went to the town of Tonopah, where he was shot after exchanging gunfire with a homeowner. According to police, Hurley and the homeowner had a history of conflict. Hurley was taken to a hospital in critical condition. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland is being accused of trying to deprive parents of their right to speak out about their children's education. Fox News' Alexandria Hoff has the latest from Washington.
The Attorney General has been accused of seeking to silence parents, and now he must take on critics who say he is doing it for his own family. Last week, AG Merrick Garland agreed to deploy federal law enforcement to combat some parents who the National School Board Association likened to domestic terrorists. Congressman Dan Crenshaw wrote this on Twitter. They're trying to intimidate you. Don't listen to them. The Department of Justice has since disputed claims of intimidation as misinformation. Quote, the department's efforts are about rooting out criminal threats of violence, not about any particular ideology. But Garland does have a link to schools. According to a 2018 New York Times article, Garland's daughter married the co-founder of Panorama Education. According to the company, it serves 1,500 school districts, encouraging social-emotional learning by, quote, administering surveys and conducting data analysis to providing hands-on coaching and support. Some parents find the company's emphasis on equity and inclusion in the classroom similar to the highly debated critical race theory. But according to the company, quote, Panorama is not connected to CRT and it is not a tool for teaching CRT. The student surveys have also sparked some concern.
Big tech is data mining our children with surveys and screeners. And one of the recipients of the money that school boards are approving is Merrick Garland's son-in-law's company, Panorama Education.
Mark Zuckerberg is an investor in Panorama, but the company states that they do not sell that data collected from student surveys or provide it to Facebook. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
We'll be right back with meteorologist Nick Kelly and another look at your weather. And later in the show,
the former FDA commissioner expressing optimism that we could be nearing the end of the pandemic.
I'm Claudia Cowan. I'll have that story just ahead.
Some things have changed since we last spoke about a half hour or so ago, but still we have a tornado watch for Newada and Washington counties. That will expire at the top of the hour, but over the past 10 or 15 minutes, a new tornado watch went out for Labette, Cherokee, Jasper, Lawrence, Berry, Newton, McDonald, Craig, Ottawa, Delaware, and Benton counties. And you can see that takes us until 2 a.m. as we go into the overnight and into your Monday. And on top of all of that, we still have all these flood watches in effect until 7 o'clock going into our Monday morning. So even though it's been a pretty quiet day, things are beginning to ramp up, especially in our western counties. For the time being, though, the bulk of the severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings have been about from the Tulsa metro southwest down into central and southwestern Oklahoma. But over the past couple of hours, we have seen, as expected, the beginnings of the rain and thunderstorms push into our western counties. It's just a big mass of rain with some embedded thunderstorms for the time being. But as we continue to keep an eye on the thunderstorms coming out of Tulsa, in fact, a new severe thunderstorm warning goes from the Tulsa metro down south almost to Muskogee. That is going to be part of a complex that might grace our southern counties later on as we go into the overnight. So it's no surprise that's why the tornado watch went out, because there have been some tornado warnings with that batch of rain and storms passing just to the south of Tulsa. But around here, though, we're starting to see signs of rain accumulating on the radar. We have maybe on the average 0.2 of an inch of rain, but those numbers are going to do nothing but climb as the rain chances continue to ramp up overnight. At least a live look from Indigo Sky outside of Seneca, Missouri, and Joplin at 7th and Range Line. Still looking pretty calm, even though we're quite a bit cloudy up top. 72 degrees with an east breeze of 6 miles per hour, and everyone is still, most of everyone I should say, just ahead of our cold front. That's why most of us are in the lower to middle 70s still. Look at Yates Center. You're already dropping back to 62 in St. Bill's for Iola because you're sneaking back on the cooler side of the cold front. Make that the other side of the cold front. You're still dealing with rain and some thunderstorms, but the bulk of the severe weather, thankfully so far, has been confined to central Oklahoma, even stretching all the way down deep into the state of Texas. Here's the front in question. That continues to work on in. But once we deal with that, we've got another cold front to the north and west and another upper level wave. That will bring in our next best shot for rain and storms on Wednesday, especially Wednesday morning into the day. But we got to get past this storm system first because it is still capable of producing some severe weather. The biggest threat, though, still staying just outside of our viewing area. But until we hit 3 a.m., I still think that's our prime window for any strong to severe storms, with high wind and heavy rain being the biggest primary issues, but can't rule out some isolated spin-up tornadoes as this line continues to push on in. And you can see how it gets near the Joplin area in the I-49 corridor once we hit about 12:30, give or take about an hour or so. But once that batch passes, it weakens. Then we got rain on the backside of this cold front that will keep on going as we head into Monday morning. Now, so this is what's going to give us maybe 1 to 3 inches, maybe some locally higher amounts before everything dries out as we go into Monday afternoon. So we'll go 59 in the morning once we get on the backside of the front, 63 by noon, and high temperatures right around 70 degrees. And again, we'll start the day out with storms, then we'll be dry for the afternoon. 80 on Tuesday with maybe a few storms possible late in the afternoon, but our next best shot for storms is on Wednesday with highs near 77. Additional storm chances Thursday and Friday, Mike. Thankfully, we'll bring highs back to fall, upper 60s to near 70 degrees. Maybe Saturday and Sunday morning starting out with lows in the mid-40s.
You know, Nick, sometimes I feel like fall's not truly here in the four-state area till that tornado talk comes around.
Yeah, well, if it doesn't come tomorrow, give about the weekend, it's going to feel like fall then.
Sounds good to me. Thanks so much, Nick Kelly. And hey, Nick, check this out. I know tomorrow is Columbus Day, but did you know it's also National Sausage Pizza Day? So celebrate the best way you can with a little slice of heaven from your favorite pizzeria. There's lots of great choices you can get when it comes to pizza toppings, from pepperoni to the ever-controversial pineapple. But on National Sausage Pizza Day, I think the decision over what kind of slice to get is pretty obvious. It's a mushroom, right? No. All right, hey, stick around, sports fans. You are just 2 minutes away from your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 with Sports Report Time with Danny Terzer. That is next.
This is the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. Huge matchup tonight on Sunday Night Football, a rematch of last year's AFC title game between the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs looking to build off last week's solid performance in Philadelphia and get over 500. Rain started to come down in Kansas City. The game is currently in a lightning delay. At halftime, the Bills lead the Chiefs 24-13. The Red River rivalry game between Texas and Oklahoma certainly brought the excitement. Once again, Oklahoma pulls out the win, coming from behind down to the wire, but the Sooners managed to stay unbeaten. Oklahoma overcame a 28-7 deficit, the second largest comeback in program history. Tied with 7 minutes left to play, Kennedy Brooks finds the end zone twice in that span. Brooks had a monster day, 217 yards, and those 2 late touchdowns. Sooners win it 55-48.
It's been something we've talked a lot about throughout the offseason. It's just us being a team that finishes well, and plays some of our best ball at the end. And we're still working through the other stuff as far as those other quarters, but we've been a group that has finished well. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the moments in my career that I've been prouder of a team. I don't know. There's not many.
The Pittsburgh State Gorillas fell 1 point shy of upsetting the number 2 team in the nation, the Northwest Bearcats on Saturday. Here's a look at PSU's impact players from the game. Jalen Martin, he had 13 catches for 127 yards. Frontenac alum Brandon Malikis led the team with 8 tackles. The entire defense was strong, particularly in the first half, holding the Bearcats to 73 yards on offense in the first 30 minutes. The Missouri Southern Lions tacked on their second win of the year on the road against Lincoln. Lions are now 2-4. Lots of guys played well in Missouri Southern's 52-32 win. Have to mention Brian Boyd Jr. He caught 5 passes for 169 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Dylan Bolden, he's had a great season. He tallied his 5th interception in 6 games. It was a 21-yard pick 6, his 2nd of the year. The Pittsburgh State Gorillas hit the field today for some fall ball action. PSU hosting NEO. Nice at bat here for Sophia Hoffman. Bases loaded. It's a grand slam. That kicks off quite the day on offense for the Gorillas. Second inning, Cadence Skiles, 2-run jack to center. That makes it 6-0. Josie Solano adding more. She gets a hit down the middle. It's good for an RBI double. Taylor Lambert comes in from second. Then Corey Stonestreet with a runner on, gets a good piece of it. Off the scoreboard, she'll come all the way around. Pitt State pours it on. Gorillas win 18-2. The Class 5 District 6 softball tournament kicks off on Tuesday. The Joplin Eagles are the 6th seed. Joplin is set to face Republic at 7 p.m. on Tuesday in the quarterfinal round. The Eagles finished the season 16-13, and they've got some momentum, winning their final 3 in a row.
Yeah, I think we are playing really good right now, and it's been extended really more than just this last week and these 3 games that we've won. We've competed with some of the best teams in our conference, 1-run losses to some of the best teams in our district, and we're just playing really good softball right now, and we're giving ourselves a chance night in and night out.
We'll be right back with more news.
Doctors are seeing more breakthrough cases of COVID-19 as vaccines could be starting to wear off for Americans who got them in early 2020. But overall, data shows the U.S. could be on the back end of the latest surge caused by the Delta variant. Fox News' Claudia Cowan has more.
The CDC will meet later this month to review the data and issue a recommendation on whether to approve booster shots for the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccines. The latest numbers show a rise in breakthrough infections among people who've been vaccinated. In Pennsylvania, those who have already been vaccinated now account for more than a quarter of all new cases. That uptick coincides with data showing Pfizer's vaccine effectiveness falls off after about 6 months, a mark many Americans have already reached.
As more and more people get farther and farther out from their last dose, then they have less immunity, which means the virus has more opportunity to move around.
Right now, the Pfizer booster is the only one that has been approved, and only for people 65 years and older or who have underlying health conditions. Despite the concern, numbers nationwide are still trending in the right direction, with case rates and hospitalizations on the downswing, and many COVID testing sites shutting down due to lack of demand.
I think there's a high likelihood that this Delta wave of infection is the last major surge of infection that we see in this country, barring something unexpected where you get a new variant that pierces the immunity that we've acquired through vaccination and prior infection.
Children under 12 still cannot get a COVID vaccine, but later this month, the FDA will meet to review approval of the Pfizer vaccine for kids ages 5 to 11. In Los Angeles, Claudia Cowan, Fox News.
Health experts believe lingering effects from COVID-19 could cause problems to watch for in your circulatory system. The CDC says blood clots kill as many as 100,000 people a year, and scientists are watching for closer links to COVID-19 and how its inflammation effects can trigger blood clots. People with conditions such as deep vein thrombosis can be more susceptible to blood clotting, which can occur from prolonged car or plane rides through immobility. Clots can lead to potentially fatal pulmonary embolisms when they break off and block arteries in the lungs. Experts say to watch for symptoms such as arm and leg swelling, difficulty breathing, worsening chest pains, and low blood pressure. We are not done yet here on your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. And when we return, we are headed off to Alaska and learning who won the Fat Bear Week online competition. That story and more are next. Welcome back. The people want to know, who's the fattest bear in Alaska? After a record-breaking week of voting, the Fat Bear Week online competition has that answer. 480 Outage has been crowned the winner of this year's contest. He's more than 25 years old, and he's now a 4-time champion. 480 Outage is also estimated to weigh more than 900 pounds. Each year, the competition is held to celebrate bears' pre-hibernation weight gain from June to October. Nearly 800,000 votes were cast in the week-long contest. All right, let's wrap the show with some cute baby animals. Visitors at the Guadalajara Zoo in Mexico are getting a chance to see 4 rare Bengal tiger cubs. The 3-month-old cubs have quickly become celebrities at the zoo ever since their public debut late last month. Zoo officials say all 4 of the cubs are healthy and that they are sharing their enclosure with their mother, Shitara. But zoo officials also say the mother does not enjoy the spotlight as much as her playful offspring and is pretty shy around visitors. Animal experts say the birth of tigers is a complicated event, and the Guadalajara Zoo is lucky to have 4 new cubs. As the tigers grow, they will eventually be given to other zoos due to a lack of space. Hey, well, thanks so much for wrapping up your weekend with us. We'll see you next week for more KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Have a great night. Stay safe out there.